Hi everybody, this is Maria Lupita Gurule, and today I just want to take a moment to just talk about a super important subject that is affecting all of us, and that is why are the majority of us not feeling good, and what do we do about it? So that's what today's topic is about. Why are we feeling this way, and what can we do to shift out of it? So rather than talking about all of the causes, because it's so complex and it's so much, and a lot of it is really otherworldly, other timely, like crazy stuff about all the causes. And if you're interested, we can potentially look at a talk about that, maybe a private talk about the causes of what's happening. But I really want to just talk about the result, what we're feeling. Every single one of us on this planet at this time is feeling this energetic shift, and it is coming up in our world by how we feel and what we're experiencing. And the scary part is that a good majority of us don't feel good through it. And so why is that? Well, it's a reason because in order for us to be able to feel better, to do better in life, we are faced with the challenges of releasing all of our hurts past, all of our pains, and our programming. So that is the reason that we're here on this earth plane. And so what I can say in this moment is that there are two energies that are existing upon the planet at this time. In order for us to exist in this 3D material plane, there has to be this duality and polarity. So equal and opposites. And so in order for the good to exist, the bad has to exist. But the problem is that the majority of us are feeling the bad and not feeling the good. So how do we shift out of that so that we can begin to feel the good? If both of those energies exist on the planet right now, why do the majority of us feel the negative, feel the tension, the anxiety, the hurt, the pain, the fear? Well, it is, first of all, an energy that has been upon the planet for an age. All of that is coming to a shift right now. So when we talk about this great shift, we're in it. It used to feel to me that it was like looming in the near future, but we are right smack in the middle of it, and every single one of us are experiencing it inside of ourselves. It doesn't even have to be so much of what is happening on the outside of the world, which is a lot, but so many of us are feeling it from the inside. How do we overcome that? It's really easy to be able to say that we're feeling anxious because of everything else that is happening outside in the world. The pandemic, all of these wars, the shifts and these changes, the climate change, fires, hurricanes, massive things that are happening upon the earth. While all of that is reflective of what is actually happening on the inside of us. We are not separate from this energy. We are like fish in water. Does a fish even realize that it's in water? There is this energy that exists all around us that we are immersed in, infused in, part of, and could not even separate ourselves from it, even if we wanted to. The sad part is that most of us feel disconnected from it, don't even feel connected to it, don't even realize that we're in it. And therein lies the problem. When we come into this reality, we have again that duality and that polarity, the opposites, good, bad, white, black, up, down, all of those things. In order for one to exist, the other has to exist. So if there is all of this negativity that is happening on the earth, there has to be the equal proportion of the good that is also being infused on this earth plane at this time. The thing is, the majority of us do not have the lens or the capacity or the perception even to be aware of it. Check that out. Most of us are stuck in a frequency that we're not even able or capable to see the good, because we are not attuned to it. And that is what the majority of us are feeling right now. Even when we've been doing lifelong spiritual work, you might have done spiritual work your entire life. You might have worked on your issues. You might have contributed service. You might be doing sessions and helping others. But you yourself right now might be feeling all of this within yourself and wondering, what the hell is wrong with me? Well, there's nothing wrong with us. It's just that we have had situations that have occurred that still linger and remain within us that we're not even aware of. And that is what we've been experiencing recently. So with these two energies that are happening on the earth right now, again, the negative or the positive, the fear or the joy, or the anger and frustration, or just being content, survival versus thriving, going through the motions versus creating. And that is what we are here to discover and how to apply and how to overcome. So when we've had experiences in life that still linger and remain in us, we might not even be aware of it. There might be patterns that are playing out in your certain circumstance that you might be saying, how in the world is this happening yet again? So just remember that we keep coming back into our life circumstances and our life lessons again and again, just like a spiral. We are meant to come back on it so that we can check in with ourselves, so that we can apply the maturity and the wisdom that we gain through our experiences. So when we are here and faced with problems yet again, it's another opportunity to say, okay, I want things to be different. So in order for things to be different, we have to make different choices. We have to be willing to look at ourselves to say, well, what is causing this? If this keeps coming up in my situation, where is it that I can make the adjustment? Now, granted, there are things out there in life. We have likes and dislikes, things that we prefer, and that's okay. The thing is, we must also have a willingness to allow others their experience, while hopefully they allow us our experience. We also have to accept ourselves, accept those parts of ourselves. So it's a complex process of healing. This is why we're feeling so horrible right now, is because healing brings up pain. Pain comes up that we don't want to feel. When pain comes up, the first instinct is to shove it back down. When we feel pain, the first thing we want to do is blame. When we feel pain, the first thing we think about is, I don't feel good. Who's to blame? And so when things come up within us, it's just an opportunity. It's a message and a guidance from our soul saying, there's something over here that needs to be addressed. There's an experience that happened over here that's kind of distorted the way you look at the world. There's this thing that happened in the past that created fear that's blocking you from taking risks and really living the life you want. All of the difficulties that we experience is an inner communication from our soul and our spirit to overcome those pains and those hurts. And we do not have to pick them apart. We no longer have the time nor the luxury to sit and pick apart and assess all of our pains, nor should we want to. That's a hard thing when we look back on our past and relive those experiences. Now think about that. When we think about our past and we relive those experiences, that's another reason why we're feeling so much pain and so much hurt, is because so many of us, every single one of us, has gone through life and have had certain experiences. Oftentimes those patterns were created from childhood that continue to replay over and over and over and over again, just in different people. Those are the programs. Those are the parts of ourselves that we've come here to heal. So when it comes up, instead of looking at it like, oh my God, here we go again, this negative situation, and then instead of it amplifying and making the situation worse or bigger, we have to have a willingness to stop, to let go, to not engage with it in the same way, look at ourselves and our own parts of the things that we need to do to change, as well as also looking at the things and the places where we need to set boundaries and where we need to create shifts and changes that are sometimes uncomfortable. So all of this is happening right now because there is this extra energy, a bombardment of energy that is happening on the planet right now. There's a speeding up and a frequency increasing of the resonance of the earth, as well as a lot of electromagnetic storms, as well as a lot of solar storms. All of this is contributing to a massive amount of energy. And there has never been this amount of energy available on the planet at this time. Well, actually there was once before, but that's a whole other story. What's happening right now is that not only is it we're filling our airwaves with all kinds of bombardments of mostly negative energy, and we are swimming in it. So when we turn on the news and that's all we see, when we turn on the radio waves, that's all we hear. When we talk to other people, that's all they're saying. And when we are by ourselves, that's all we're thinking. So it's like we can't escape it because it's all around us. But what's worse is when it's within us. So in order to come out of this, it's about understanding that there is ambient energies all around us. We are immersed and infused in a field of energy that we don't fully understand. And all of those microscopic shifts and changes have an effect on us. Our environment has an effect on us. And so when we feel ourselves being pushed on, the first thing is we shut down. The hardest part is to disconnect from all of the tools that once worked. Well, what's happening is that we are now being pushed to find and seek a new set of tools, as well as to really address those issues that are within us that need to come out so that we ourselves could come out of it. So when we keep seeing ourselves being trapped by the same patterns playing out again and again and again, maybe just in different people, those are indicators of the life lessons that we're here to heal. When we understand that we are part of something greater and bigger than we can begin to even understand. Every single reality that can exist does exist. Quantum physics states that every single possible thing in nature, time is all simultaneously occurring, simultaneously, all of time and space. It is absolutely incredible and mind-boggling to even think about. So there's all of these different contributing factors, but the main and most important thing is that we are here. Every single one of us who are incarnate on the planet at this time is playing out a divine role in the shift of the planet. That shift of the planet is playing out inside of you. So the most important thing is, I can't heal the whole entire earth, but you can heal yourself. Because when you heal yourself, you do heal the earth. When you are able to deal with and cope and heal all of those parts inside of yourself, it contributes to the healing of the entire planet. For those of us who have been doing light work, but yet are feeling so disconnected and lonely and feeling isolated, you are not alone. The most important thing to understand is that there are so many of us that are peppered upon the planet, that are all doing this work, but again, feeling that disconnection. So if you are one of those individuals who are feeling this, just take a moment to understand that there is a field of energy that extends from us to every other individual and as well as everything in life. That is the connection that we have. That is the thing that we have been disconnected from. And the best way to reconnect to that is to spend some time in nature. Spend some time under the sun. Spend some time with yourself and attuning yourself to the quietness of nature rather than the chaos of the airwaves that are being bombarded. That is super important right now because that has been by design. Our disconnection from nature has disconnected us from nothing else other than ourselves. Most of us don't even know how to sit with ourselves for a while. Most of us, when we sit in quiet places for even more than 5 minutes without a phone or anybody else to talk to, get a little bit anxious. If that is something that occurs, is because sometimes we don't even want to or cannot cope with what is within ourselves. And that is what is pushing us at this moment. I've been talking about being transparent, and all that means is that we allow ourselves to heal those parts of ourselves, those shadow parts, those pain parts, those parts of ourselves that cast shadow, that hold and block the light away. So it's like holding a piece of glass up to the sun and then trying to find where all of those spots are so that we can remove them. And it comes in layers. But what's happening at this time is that every single one of us on the planet is being pushed through this process. We don't have the time or the luxury, nor should we have the desire to pick apart all of our hurts and pains, but we do have an obligation and a responsibility to release and heal it. Those are the parts of us that hold us down. When we are not taught how to heal it, that's the hardest part. Seek the help that we need. There are so many amazing self-help books out there, incredible people, therapists, counselors, all sorts of different individuals that can assist with this process. That my way is just one avenue, but there are a million other ways to assist us in our healing, and that is what is being pushed on right now. So all of us are feeling this pressure to release these layers that are holding us back. So if there's two energies that are happening on the planet right now, this negative and this positive, and the majority of us are feeling the negative, is because we are attuned into that frequency, or something has occurred within us and still has a grip on us and is perhaps still playing itself out, that isn't allowing us to come out of that experience just yet because we're learning from it. I recently discovered that through this process of healing and understanding healing, is about taking absolute responsibility for ourselves. And as much as I would like to take on the lessons of others, realizing that I cannot heal myself through another, nor am I responsible for their healing, that every single one of us must have a willingness to look within ourselves. And that's the harder work. So if you're being pressed right now and there's a lot of negativity or discomfort that is coming up from within you, look for the assistance to help. We all need coping tools to help ourselves feel better. And so that is the reason. That is the part of the process. So if you watch the last video, is that, pain serves a purpose because it helps us to seek and find ways to feel better. If you are not feeling good right now, I myself was not feeling good, it forces us to find those ways. And so I took a pause from creating some videos just so that I can have that time of self-assessment and to cope and deal with some things that have recently come up within myself. And it does. And just because I do this and I have these abilities doesn't mean that it keeps me from having all of my human experiences. I too am learning and growing. I too am learning how to apply all of these things that I'm conveying to you. There have recently been some things that have come up that I thought I had dealt with for such a long time ago, only to realize an entire new layer, a whole deep, deep layer within myself that I was able to have the clarity that I was seeking. That's what relationships are about. That's what our circumstances are about. If we have a willingness to go through those difficult circumstances, but then also to ask, what was that about? What was it trying to teach me? What is it trying to show me about myself? What is coming up inside of me, within myself, that is causing this discomfort? What is it that I need to look at to change or to heal or address in order to feel better? Where is my faulty thinking that I need to, in order to fix this? All of these are indicators of our healing. They're all clues as to what's coming up that needs to come out so that you can let it go. So with these two energies that are happening on the planet, it requires that we make a choice. Now, most of us are thinking we're making choices or wanting to feel better, but aren't. And so oftentimes the things that are coming up are there just to be able to show us. When it comes up, again, having an ability to look at it. What was I thinking? What was I feeling? Who was I talking to? What was coming up in the moment that made me feel a little bit prickly? Because that's the clue of the thing that needs to be healed. When negative emotion comes up, try not to suppress it, because negative emotion is a difficult thing to handle. But when we have a willingness to go through it, there's always a gift on the other side. And the gift is the understanding. The gift is yourself that you get to bring back once you have that understanding. Once you've gained that clarity. Once you've set that boundary. Once you've reclaimed that part of yourself, whatever it may be. The gift on the other side and through that pain is you. That's why we're feeling all of this. So if we're feeling some pain and we're revisiting things that have occurred a long time ago, it's just because it's another layer of depth of releasing and healing that's coming up. It's an opportunity to let it go. So we are highly attuned instruments. And if we ourselves want to be feeling and experiencing joy, we have to learn how to change our station. And the way that we learn how to do that is by learning how to let go. We have to change the station ourselves. We have to have a willingness to pay attention to what's coming up, and then also to make adjustments. And the two ways to do that, and the first and foremost, most important, that is ever affecting in every single part of your life. If you do nothing else in life, do this one thing. Manage your mind. Not an easy thing to do. What does that even mean? Manage your mind. So again, our thoughts and our mind is like a child that is run rampant, that if we are not in control of it, it will just run wild. So oftentimes when we are in a state of daydreaming, where it's our subconscious that is allowed to run amok. Most of us are thinking of past hurts, past pains, things that occurred way earlier, trying to overcome things, and we just get fixated on it. And then oftentimes our mind is so judgmental that we instantaneously make snap decisions based on past behaviors, past perceptions, past experiences. And then we are not even checking in with ourselves to say, does that still hold true for me today? That experience that happened a long time ago, is that happening right now? Is my circumstance the same? If it is, what do I need to do to change it? How do I develop the skills within myself? Where do I go to seek skills? So it's a complex process of our healing, but we have to have a willingness to step out of it. And the first thing is by managing our mind. Pay attention to the thoughts that you think. Pay attention to the memories that keep coming up. And pay attention to the worries that you have about future things that haven't even occurred or may never occur. Those are the things that we have to manage. Manage our mind. Manage the thoughts. If those things are coming up and those negative thoughts are coming up, we have to learn how to interrupt those thoughts and how to overcome those things. So learning about mindfulness is one of the most important techniques that you could use. There's a lot out there, and perhaps I can talk about mindfulness on a future video. The second thing when we are feeling this way is about learning how to fill our cup. When we ourselves are feeling depleted, we have absolutely nothing to give. So you have to have a willingness to look within yourself of what is it within you? What is the heart's desire? What is that fire that has been placed there? What is the one thing that makes you come alive? So many of us have disconnected from that we don't even know how to answer that. Just know that it's the one thing that excites you for now. If there are certain things that you're engaged in that are causing distraction that you're looking forward to, you might want to reassess those things. So in other words, if we're really looking forward to really just watching TV, then that disconnects us from that purpose that is within ourselves. If we disconnect by distraction, that's not what I'm speaking of. When there's opportunities for us to tune into ourselves and looking forward, what is that one idea, that one hobby, that one thing that you look forward to doing, the one thing that excites you? And we have to look at those things that are oftentimes our hobbies, because those are the things that we really enjoy. Most of us consider hobbies and work to be two completely separate things. But what's happening recently, especially through this pandemic, is an opportunity to reassess the things that we enjoy. We are finally realizing that our time is so precious, that what is it that we want to be spending our time on? Most of us do not want to be going to a job that does not even give us any purpose or passion. So those are the deeper questions that we have to ask ourselves. So that's the first thing. What is the thing that excites you? And the second thing is, and part of that, another part of filling that cup is to do the things that bring you joy. Spend time with the people that feel good. Surround yourself by those things that make you feel good. Oftentimes we are taught that that is selfishness. But here's the thing, is that if you do not take time to take care of yourself, to give yourself the things that bring you joy, then you will be left with nothing else to give nor offer to anybody else. Those people who are able to fill their cup and it runneth over, those are the type of people that most of us are attracted to, because we feel their life force energy. They have a kind of excitement about life. Regardless, even if they have situations, every single one of us has challenges. So let me say this. May your goal not to obliterate your challenges. May your goal be to learn the skills to ride those challenges, because those challenges are the things that bring the very thing that we want in life. Those challenges are the things that we're here for. It's a good struggle. The struggle is going to be there no matter what. Are you going to enjoy the things you're struggling through, or are you going to struggle and hate it and keep those two parts of yourself separate? If you can begin to understand that your life is really about understanding what feels good for you, what feels good and right and true for you, what brings you joy, and where you can share that with others, that's why we're here. So those two things alone. Now, I know I talked a lot about heaviness and feeling all the tension and why it's coming up. It has to come up so that it can be healed. I myself have been going through this recently, of course, revisiting upon things that I thought I had overcome a long time ago. But when a rock or a boulder is thrown into your calm waters, it shakes up all of the sediments deep down inside, that shakes up all of that stuff that you didn't even know still existed. Or maybe you didn't realize that it's just being played out in a different way. These are just opportunities for us to check in with ourselves and to do things differently, to grow. So if you want life to be different, make different choices, do not do the same thing. Begin to look at those parts of what is coming up in my life and where do I keep focusing on? Where does my mind continually go? Where am I becoming fixated and unwilling to release? Do I need help with someone to help me through these processes? Do I need someone to speak to? Where can I develop these coping skills? What books can I turn to? And just pay attention to whatever comes up, but seek it and want it. If you want to feel better, just begin to say, I wonder what ways I can learn to help me feel better, and then pay attention. Begin to follow those ideas and those instincts. Pay attention to the conversations you have. Begin to notice the different things that come up around you, and just know that you are not alone. There is a field of energy that all of us are connected to. We are in it, whether we realize it or not. And that support is available to us if we want it. So manage your mind. Pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to the things that you're focusing on. Pay attention to where are you casting blame without looking at yourself. So those areas where you're casting blame, just kind of check in with yourself and see where it's playing out within yourself. You might just be surprised. Now, it's not an admittance that they are right and you're wrong. It's just showing you another part of yourself. It's like a piece of a puzzle. We have to have all of these puzzle pieces in order to see the bigger picture. So have a willingness to see it. There's a lot going on right now, but the most important thing is how you choose to show up in it. If you have a choice and a desire to feel better, begin to seek the ways that feel better. Manage your mind, fill up your cup, do the things that you enjoy, and then have a willingness to seek out the help should you need. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for your willingness to be here and listen and allowing me to rant and rave. And I hope that it sheds some insight into what could be happening. Now, there's a lot of reasons and causes of what's all happening right now. And that's some pretty deep stuff. We can go really deep, dark down a rabbit hole with all kinds of craziness, because anything and everything that can exist does exist. I have seen some of the most incredible things that would blow your mind. Anything and everything that can exist does. So, yeah, if that is something that you are interested in, want to know the deeper reasons as to what's really causing all of this, including conspiracy theory, science, religion, everything, because all of it plays a part of it. It's big, it's massive, it's major, we're all feeling it. Just do your part. Fill yourself. Manage your mind. Fill up the cup. Thank you so much.